I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and today I'm reviewing The Crew Family Adventure from Kosmos Games. The Crew Family Adventure is a slightly more family-weight version of The Crew. The Crew is an incredibly popular trick-taking game that then was followed by The Crew Mission Deep Sea, which is an even better version of The Crew, and now we have the Crew Family Adventure, which kind of builds upon that core cooperative teamwork card play, but makes it a little bit more family-friendly by removing the trick-taking and instead following follow color or number series. This will make a lot more sense as far as how to play it if I just walk you through a basic adventure. And in fact, I'm actually choosing a slightly more complicated adventure because that's where this game shines, at least for me. Granted, I am experienced enough with The Crew that the family part might make it a little bit too easy for me, except for those more complicated ones. That said, the basic idea is whoever has the green coconut has to start the game. The 3 coconut over here, they start the play. They can choose any card to play, and the specific mission I'm doing mission 19 over here, which is going to have us trying to hit. We have to go ahead and get to Riku, and then the Plane Wreck, and then Hiroto in that order. That's why I put those 1, 2, and 3 on the board. So we're trying to get to those 1, 2, and 3, and we can do so in up to 12 cards. Playing a row of 4 cards, then a row of 4 cards, then a row of 4 cards. Meaning there's no trick-taking and rounds, you keep just playing one after the other, although you can skip play, we'll talk about that soon. But to that end, the complication over here is you have to hit Riku on the 4th card, the Plane Wreck on the next 4th card, and then Hiroto on the 4th card after that. Now I will not fully play through a round, but I'm going to try to show you at least to the first one how we want to pace this out. Because I know I have to work my way backwards. If we're trying to get to Riku on card number 4, and I'm playing card number 1, which means I'm also playing card number 4, which means I can't play Riku automatically, so we're going to have to math out someone else is going to have to play Riku, but I'll start us off and keep it a little simple. I'm trying to work. If I have to get to Riku, which is a 2, then I have to get up to pink at some point, so I'll try to play a blue card just to get things out of the way. So I'm going to play a blue card to our first row, and then I'm going to see what the next player does. The next player, they see that who has Riku? Do they have Riku? Oh my gosh, this player has Riku, so we're gonna have to pace us around that. That's interesting over here. This is where card abilities could come into play, but we'll talk about those after. So right now, we see that we don't have this over here. We don't know what the other player does have. I happen to know everything because obviously I'm running the show, but they know they don't have Riku, and I know that I don't have Riku. This player is going to have to deal with things. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and do this over here. So they're going to play another card. They realize we have to get up to the pink over there at some point. So they're going to try to set us up for success. So to that end, they're going to go ahead and play this 2 over here. Oh, that's interesting. No, it can't, because if we play a 2 here and they have the 2, that's not going to work. That's more complicated. This is much more complicated than I was giving you credit for, at least at first. So we're going to try to go ahead and play, let's play this 3. If I play this 3, oh my gosh, will this work? Well, if I play this 2, interesting. So if I play this 2, we can go, actually, I'm going to math this out. I'm going to trust my teammates, although in this case, my teammates are me, and I'm going to play this 2 over here. Because I know that there has to be 2 skips right now to make this work. But again, a little cheating because I know all the hands. We get to this player's turn. They know they have Riku, but they can't play it yet, so they're going to take a skip token. You can go ahead and flip this, take a skip token. That's one of our 3 skip tokens for this round. In a 3-player game, we'd have 3 skip tokens and a 4 or 5 in higher players. It gets back to this player's turn. They're also going to take a skip token because they have to, and then it gets back to this turn. We're going to play our 2 next, and then Riku can be played as the 4th card, and we've now achieved Riku. By the way, you should be placing this on the board to show that a 7, then the 7 moves to the 2 because it's the same color, moves to the 2 because it's the same number, and then moves to the 2 because it's the same number. Let's go ahead, now that you kind of see the sequence there, let's go ahead and play one more round and see how we can do this. Although this time round, I'm going to actually divvy up these special cards that should have been dealt out already, but I just want to show you without those. So, each player does have a special card that they can use. We'll figure out whether those are going to help us or not, but for right now, it is currently this player's turn, so we're going to start by figuring out who has the Plane Wreck. If we have to get the Plane Wreck at the end of 4 more card plays, who has the Plane Wreck? The Plane Wreck is going to be a 6, that's me. So if I pace it out, if I play this one and then this one, we are good to go. So right now, we're currently prepped for this to kind of work. So right now, I could try to get to this over here, but that's a little too early. I think I'm just going to try to get us down to any green. Any green is legal, I guess. So we're trying to get down to any green if we could, but we can't right now. So I'll go ahead and move us over. I have the 4 red, so that won't work. I don't know who has the 7. We'll go ahead and place this 7 down over here. Okay, so we jumped over there to the 7. Let's see what's going to happen. I guess to this player's turn, do they have the green 7? They do. They do. So that work for us? I think that will. So they're going to move us down to the green row. They pop down over there. Then this player is going to go ahead. They just have to keep us on 5, but we don't want to use the 5 because the 5 is going to be helpful to getting to the 3. So we're going to place the 1. So we're going to shift down to over here. And then this player is going to go ahead and go, and they're going to play the 6 over here, which is going to get us back to that little train wreck over there. Honestly, I'm having enough fun that I'm going to just go ahead and continue playing this to try to finish out the round, granted with my perfect information. No skip turns were necessary. It is now this player's turn. We are trying to work our way towards the 3 over here, and we're going to see how we can do that. Getting up to pink is probably safe. Can I even do so, though? I'm currently on 6. I can get to blue. I'm going to go to blue. We're going to go to blue 6. Going to go on the bottom row over here. I'm going to overlay these cards so you can see everything a little better. But we are moving to the blue 6. We might have to rely on abilities, but that's fine. Then it's going to go, who has the 5? Okay, we're going to go to here. Them. They have the 5. Do they have the blue 5? They don't. How can we ensure that we get up to there? Because we need to come back to us, first of all. Play a color card that is 1 step straight. So this is where abilities come into play. Play a color card that is 1 step straight and 1 step diagonally away from the last card played. So basically I can go up to a 4, I can go up to the 5, I can go up to the 7. None of those are going to help me right now, unfortunately. So I could just skip and hope for the best, which honestly, if I skip, we need 2 skips. If I skip right now, oh, this is going to be tricky. I don't know if I can do it. We need to get to the 5. If I skip, then it goes to this player, then this player. So I can't skip right now. Although someone's going to have to skip at some point. Oh, this is not going to work. We have to hope that somebody has a card that can swap Arunis, because otherwise this is going to be tricky. So let's go ahead and skip. We're gonna skip. We're gonna see how this plays out for us. I'm not feeling quite as confident as I was a minute ago. Or do I just want to move up to the 4? Actually, if I move to the 4, I could possibly get up there, possibly. So let's see what happens. We're gonna move to the 4. And that's going to be our card play. Okay, so we're not skipping yet. Then it goes to this player over here. This player can play a card. Oh, this does work. Oh, this might work. Okay, fine. Okay, no, they can't skip. This is not going to work. Can I get to the 4 up here? I can get to the 4 up there. So we're going to pop up to the 4 up here. Then it's going to be this player's turn. They're going to do our last skip over here. And that means we're going to back to this turn. And we're going to place this. And this is going to pop over there. There we go. We did it. That was a slightly more complicated mission to play through. That's the basic idea of the game. Now, there's a lot of things that will mix up the gameplay experience. Any individual mission might tell you can do different number of cards to play. So sometimes you can only play 8 cards, which you put the marker over here. And you can only play 8 cards that round. Sometimes you're going for specific characters. Sometimes you have to avoid specific characters. You can't play certain cards on the board, and that'll get in the way. Sometimes the board matters as far as what you're trying to do over there. Other times you're just playing a little game of play cards in ascending order. Make sure all your rows and columns add up to certain numbers. But this is entirely, it's not a trick-taking game. It's a follow the last card played by matching either the color or the number and try to accomplish the specific scenario goals, of which I want to say there were 36, if I'm not mistaken. There's chapter VII 35. There's 35 missions to go through, and the first ones start off super, super easy to the point of being laughably easy. Like the first 5 aren't even like a game so much as just do these obvious things without having to worry or think about it at all. That's the basic idea of the game. That's how you play the Crew Family Adventure. It is a cooperative game of trying to achieve the goals of the game, of the scenario you're playing as, while trying to ensure that you actually can legally play, skipping at the right times, not skipping at the right times. And with that, we're going to go ahead and dive into my review of what I like, don't like, and can see others not liking all of that. Although honestly, I'm going to keep this one a little less formal. The Crew Family Adventure has moments that I enjoy. I also think it falls into a weird space. For me, here's where I am in this game. Okay, so I'm going to give you my personal thoughts and then my thoughts on who this game is for, because that's what I'm struggling with a bit more. For me, the Crew Family Adventure basically comes down to being a game that the first half of the missions almost feel like a waste of time. They are not challenging, and the problem is it's not always clear because it kind of ricochets around to an extent, meaning some of the earlier missions, the first like 5 are a complete waste. They're just procedurally teaching you the game almost. There's no way you can lose unless you are trying to lose. But then after that, there starts being some interesting ones, and I have not played through all of them to be clear, but I've played through a bunch of the missions, and some of them are interesting, even at the 10 through 15, like some of them are interesting. But also you'll play some at 15 through 20 that are still too easy and too basic, and you'll get to some interesting ones in the later ones. So for me, once you skip to like halfway through the missions, you start getting a good smattering of actually having to work together to accomplish things, and there's no communication. You're allowed to, once per round, you can play a card face up to show that is a card you have. And that would be very helpful. For a mission like this, obviously, it would be very helpful for players to use that to show certain cards they had. But for the most part, outside of that, there's no communication. You kind of have to trust your players to do the right thing, and you can only reveal one card that you have. That's all you can do in this game. And so the later half of the missions do present a fun, challenging experience at times that ends up being a bit of a puzzle to solve and feels like reminiscent to The Crew, but in a different way, a way that adds variety and is fun, is enjoyable. And I would say that half of this game is an enjoyable experience to me. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Some of it's way too easy, some of it's enjoyable enough. I do think it is a little less clever than The Crew. Like, you are a little bit more locked to ultimately can you or can't you. Like, you'll get mission cards, special cards that will help you out of a pinch, and you'll get special cards that will not help you out of a pinch, and that's completely random as far as what you get. So I would say I have fun with it. It doesn't wow me the way The Crew does, but I've had fun with a good part of this game, but you have to be kind of willing to just skip the first half of the missions as being too easy. That's for me. But I think it's targeting people. I think part of the reason half those missions are easier is it's targeting people who might find trick-taking to be a bit overwhelming, a bit too much strategy going on, and this is a bit simpler as far as the gameplay process. But I think it falls into a weird space because even from the rulebook itself, starting from the rulebook and then going through the more complicated missions as well, I think that this is a little too complicated to be... Okay. The level of rules you need to pull on, the level of rules you need to absorb and understand to get to the very, very simple game is a weird ratio. Like, simple games should have simple rules. This is a simple game for part of it without simple rules, and then you get to a little bit more of an escalation of where the game is in a way that is rewarding enough, but then it's not the simple part anymore. So I think this is an interesting game falling into a weird place. Like, this is not a game that I think I would bother introducing my kids to because I think it's too complicated for what they're looking for, and it's not going to scratch that itch in the way that I want a simple game to do so. So it's a weird situation. I'm not quite clear on the target audience. I think this is probably a bit too complex for people looking for a very simple game, which means on my end, I enjoy half of it, the half that's more complicated, and the other half is way too easy. And for other people, I think that easy half is too hard to get to. So it's a weird situation overall. For me, I'm going to come in at a 3.5 out of 5. Although let's be more specific. I'm going to overall rate this as a 3 out of 5, and that's primarily because I do think this has a weird place as far as the target audience goes. The parts that I enjoyed come in at a 3.5 out of 5, but rating it as a full game, I think a 3.5 is a little too favorable considering the weirdness of where this game kind of lies and falls and who the target audience is. For me, I'll play through the missions that I enjoy. I'll get the interesting, compelling little puzzles of trying to line things up in ways that are more challenging. I'll play through those like 10 to 15 missions, get what I need out of the game, get enough experience out of it that I can feel I saw enough of this and move on. But I'd have a harder time recommending it. And that's why I'm coming in at a lower score overall, because despite the fact that there are parts of this game that are a little higher for me, it's just a weird game that I'd have a very hard time recommending because it's a little too complicated for a little too simple until you get to the more complicated parts that are more rewarding, but then that's not the simple target audience. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a slightly weird situation as far as covering my thoughts on a game that I both enjoy, but have a hard time knowing who it's for. Anyways, until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. I hope you found this review helpful in some way, and as always, I hope you have a good one.